same language. Everybody understands kindness, and everybody understands uh when you mistreat somebody. I mean, in any language, nobody would let you come and abuse a baby. If there was a baby laying out, I don't care if you spoke Spanish or whatever, and you went to kill that baby with an axe, most people who have their right minds would run up and try to stop you from killing the baby. So this is what she's saying, that religious bodies uh, uh, have sanctioned slavery. Like I said, the Adventist Church did rise up against it, but there were people who saw nothing wrong with it because they didn't consider slaves to be people. They considered them to be animals. And even our Constitution had said that Black people were property and not human beings. And the church, who should have been the leaders in talking against this treatment of people, they were not. They went along with it just like if it was um, a business, and that's what she's riding up against. And she said, such injustice, such oppression, such sufferings are looked upon with heartless indifference by many professed followers of the meek and lowly Jesus. And many of them can themselves inflict with hateful satisfaction all this indescribable agony, and yet they dare to worship God. I'm going to say something, okay, go ahead, Flo. Flo? Uh-oh. Do you hear me, Flo?
Yes, you go on and finish what you're saying, then I say it.
I was going to say, this is true. A lot of people don't believe this, but people, when they were hanging Black folks in the South years and years ago, it was just like a party. People, they would bring their children. They would have festive occasions for hangings. And how, I mean, I just can't see it. I don't care. If somebody said that they were hanging a dog, I could not. Because I can't stand to see nothing innocent. But for that, the fact that people did not consider slaves or Black people people, I guess they could do it. But still, if you have to have a heart even for animals. So if you didn't consider them people, then you could have considered them animals that did not deserve mistreatment. And this is what Sister White is saying, that these people who had called themselves Christians, but they could participate in the mistreatment of slaves during this period in the United States history. Okay, go Flo.
Okay, so my question is, this points to United States, as you had said earlier last week that they was talking about the United States, but
Mm-hmm.
the same type slavery went on in Egypt when they had everybody in bondage, Pharaoh and all them, how they were beat
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and mistreat them, and even
Mm-hmm.
they made the old work just as hard as they did the young,
Mm-hmm.
the young men and the children, how they were, you know, mistreated because they had them in bondage and slavery. So um and they could consider themselves to that was okay with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a way of life.
Yeah, you see that same thing of how the Jews how the Jews were mistreated by the Germans. And it was just like the Jews were not people. They were just animals. I mean, even the children were treated no differently from the adults. I mean, such a heartless um mistreatment of people. It's all it's nothing but uh hatred from the devil. It's all from the devil, who has no respect for life. Sister Knowles?
Don't you think it's ironic? The South is known as the Bible Belt, that is also what's known for slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it doesn't compute.
It doesn't make any sense at all. It really is that people could read the Bible, and she goes on. She says, that people will get tears in their voice when they talk about the martyrs and all like that, and wonder how people could be so hardened, and then they could go do the same thing. So we as when you profess to be a Christian, some people are just Christian in name only. It doesn't go any farther than sitting in church on a day and saying some things. That's all it is, and that's where we are. I'm going to read this down from on the bottom of the page 275. She says, these professed Christians read of the sufferings of the martyrs, and tears course down their cheeks. They wonder that men could ever become so hardened as to practice such cruelty toward their fellow men. Yet, those who think and speak are thus at the same time holding human beings in slavery. And this is not all. They sever the ties of nature and cruelly oppress their fellow men. They can inflict most inhuman torture with the same relentless cruelty manifested by papists and heathen toward Christ's followers. Said the angel, it will be more tolerable for the heathen and papists in the day of the execution of God's judgment than for such men. The cries of the oppressed have reached unto heaven, and angels stand amazed at the untold, agonizing sufferings which man, formed in the image of his Maker, causes his fellow man. Said the angel, listen, the names of the oppressors are written in blood, crossed with stripes, and flooded with agonizing, burning tears of suffering. God's anger will not cease until he has caused this land of light to drink the dregs of the cup of his fury, until he has rewarded unto Babylon double. Reward her even as she rewarded you, double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup she has filled it to her double. Y'all, that's some hard words right there. This is what she says, and this is what's going to happen.
So this horrible situation gonna take place at the after the resurrection.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Now,
all of this going to take place now during the time of trouble. She's saying the United States is going to have to suffer for the things that they have committed. What she says, this land of lights to drink the dregs of the cup of God's fury until he has rewarded unto Babylon double. Not only, they're going to come in cahoots, they're already in cahoots with the papacy, and they're going to cause people to want to worship the papacy and cause people to be mistreated. Not only for what she has done in the past will the United States suffer, but what she's going to do in the future. Revelation 13 said, and she will cause all to worship that beast, the first beast, which is the papacy. And then when she does that, her cup of iniquity will be full. And then, you know what? We'll have to suffer right along with some of that because we'll be here. But it's going to happen, just like she said. They're going to drink the dregs of the cup of his fury, and That's it. They're gonna have to suffer for God's vengeance against sin. Hello? Hello?
Okay, it's Vince. Go on.
Okay.
It's going to start here first, Lily. Once the other countries and them is waiting for America to pass this law,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to prosecute
Mm-hmm.
our people, the ones who profess the Sabbath keeping, the one who profess to have the testimony of Jesus. They're waiting for that time when the United States pass that law, then all the other countries going to follow.
They are. They are. Chandrisa?
I see that example happening now. I saw on the news and it made sense to me, and I was like, wow, this is how that is. I've read about influence, and it said this day with God, and it talks about that we're responsible for our influence of others.
Mm-hmm.
And I said America really is going to suffer because America has to pay for the influence. Right now in Germany, they are trying to overthrow the government, and it's linked back to what happened here on January the 6th. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just linked right back. And I was like, wow. I said, because this was allowed to happen, or this happened here in America, it has influenced another area around the world to try to do something similar. And I was just like, and this is not even something, like um, a, a doctrine or anything. This is just behavior.
Power.
Yes. I said, this is just crazy. And so when we talk about how this is going to happen and it's going to, start here, I see more and more. And it's just like, wow, this is, it's crazy.
Listen, I heard on the news, must have been Saturday night while I was sitting here, that there was a man, it was a preacher. He used to be part of this Christian group who used to go and pray with President Trump in the White House. And it was at Paula White, and some of they mentioned his name, but I can't bring it to right now. But he told the New York Times that he had gotten a Christian couple, and he wanted to try to make friends with the Supreme Court justices. Anybody else heard this story? And what he did, he got this couple. He found out where the Supreme Court justices, where they ate, where they socialized, and he sent this couple to make friends with Justice Alito. They got to be so close that they used to go on hunting trips. They paid for cruises. They knew when y'all remember that case about the Baker versus that one, the case about Hobby Lobby and the insurance. The man told he knew about that before the decision was made because Alito told him.
Wow.
And and I didn't know this, that the Supreme Court does not have like a code of ethics. Just like the congressmen have to report if somebody gives them a gift, if they have to give them a vacation or something like that, they have to send it in. They have to report it. The Supreme Court doesn't have to do any of that. So they said these evangelicals have been whining and dining the Supreme Court justices to rule so that they can rule according to what they ask.
Wow.
And if that ain't a scary thought. So that's what they've been doing for the last few years. So now the Congress is going to try to go and try to rein that back in, but it's not going to happen. The Supreme Court is virtually a law unto itself. There is nobody that supervises them. They have to supervise themselves. So if they can be easily influenced and bought and sold like that, listen, the Sunday law is probably already in the drawers, in the cabinets, just waiting to be pulled out of the drawers and put into effect.
Wow.
Because they have the final say so on what they they're not supposed to make laws or legislate laws. They're to interpret them according to the Constitution. But now they have gone into making laws and saying this and saying that and saying things that the Constitution did not say. Well, there's certain things the Constitution couldn't say because there was no LGBTQ or XYZ back then. So there's nothing that it says. So they are becoming a major figure in this breakdown of the wall between church and state, and that should really, really bother us. That politicians and church folks can have this cozy relationship, and nobody thinks it's strange.
Yeah.
But things are really gonna get different. I think we have just started seeing the beginning of the end. I really, really do.
Mhm.
It's just all just kind of crazy. All just kind of crazy. But we need to remember, so we need to not try to build our heaven in this glorious United States. Yes, it is the best thing going, but you know what? When the Bible says Babylon is fallen, that's us. That's Protestant America. It's become the habitation of every unclean and unhateful bird. You can't separate it. You can't separate ourselves from it. So we have to be prepared to endure some of the difficult times that are going to come, because God is not going to snatch us out of here when things get difficult. He's trying to prepare us now to deal with the difficulty. So we need to, get prepared to deal with weight and hard times and no food and all these kinds of things, because it's sad to say, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in these United States. And that's what's going to be so hard for some people to bear, because we have forever been the land of the free, the home of the brave, the home of plenty. We lead the world, and when we have nothing, what they used to say, when America gets a cold, the whole world sneezes.
Mm.
And it's going to be that same way.
Mhm.
It's going to be tough. So but just like there'll be a time of trouble such as never was, God will have a people such as never were. And we need to be preparing to be those people.
Amen. Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to read the last paragraph, then we'll close. It says, I saw that the slave master will have to answer for the soul of his slave, whom he has kept in ignorance, and the sins of the slave will be visited upon the master. God cannot take to heaven the slave who has been kept in ignorance and degradation, knowing nothing of God or the Bible, fearing nothing but his master's lash, and holding a lower position than the brutes. But he does the best thing for him that a compassionate God can do. He permits him to be as if he had not been, while the master must endure the 7 last plagues and then come up in the second resurrection and suffer the second most awful death. Then the justice of God will be satisfied.
Mhm.
And you know what? That gives me a lot of comfort that God is truly a God of compassion, that he does understand that is a merciful thing to do. Just when they go to sleep, they just sleep on. They're not he's like she says, they've only known the master's whip, and they don't understand nothing of salvation or the grace of God. They have been virtually, she says, lower than the beast. So God permits them to be as if they never had been, but the master will endure what's coming upon the earth.
Mercy.
there is coming trouble to our world. So I mean, I just want our minds not to be so carried away with holiday. I get so weary of people in Christmas. I just don't know what to do. I get so weary of people being crazy at Christmas.
Mhm.
We need to really keep our feet on the ground and just prepare
Mhm.
for what could break open next year.
Right.
I mean, really, just kind of, because I was just telling my children, listen, just when we go into the new year, listen, be sure all your bills are paid up. Be sure you got a house full of groceries. Just prepare physically, financially for difficulty. Do not lose y'all's head over Christmas.
Amen.
Do not, because we just don't know what this thing. Listen, that thing in Ukraine could bust open and it could just be a mess for a while. I mean, it's a mess already. But if Russia decides to do something stupid and we get into a war, we are just really, it'll just be messy.
Mhm.
So keep your houses in order, financially, physically. Like I said, go into the new year, not with a bunch of holiday bills, but with a total dedication to Christ. Have your 2 to 3 weeks of food supply. Have you some cash under the bed. Just be prepared for an emergency
Mhm.
because it could come any day, any day.
Mhm.
And you just don't want to go out there and spend all your money, ran up all your credit cards, and the economy tanks, and you can't buy gas for your car. I mean, just Lord help us. Just
Mhm.
keep your head level. Don't let the devil take you out nowhere. Uh,
Right.
this holiday season, don't let him take you nowhere,
If
because
you give good gifts.
Yes,
whether
I say that too, Lily, to different
Mhm.
people, and they were saying, "Well, you finished all your Christmas shopping?" I said, "I ain't doing no Christmas shopping."
Mm-mm.
And the man looked at me kind of funny. I say, "I got a grandbaby that's 7." I say, "I might buy something for her." I
Mhm.
say, "But I'm not doing gifts." I told my children, "Don't buy me
Mhm.
nothing. I don't want nothing. I don't need nothing. And any money y'all got, keep it for yourself."
That's what I told my children too. I
And
said, "We'll give y'all a Dollar Tree gift. I'm gonna give you some lotion for your hands, and from a Dollar Tree gift. That's all you get." And
I'm
I
gonna
don't, I'm like you. I don't need nothing. I'm just,
Give you what
but
they need.
give you some love. And that's
absolutely,
it. Cause
and
and
some prayers.
some
Uh-huh,
prayers and some
uh-huh.
advice, to draw closer to Jesus
Hmm.
and but and people look at me so hard. Fly, you mean? I said, nope, I ain't about this Christmas mess.
Mm-mm.
Now you fooled me when I was a child. Shame on you. You ain't fooling me while I'm grown.
Mm-mm. But we do, and we need to share this with other people so they don't get everybody going to be so stretched out physically, financially, and it's just the perfect time for the devil to do something.
It is.
Yes.
But we was in Walmart yesterday picking up some groceries and stuff. And we went to visit my, why they got so many TVs? They was all on the floor,
Mhm.
they were in the aisle, and
Mhm.
they just got Google of the TV. I said,
Mm.
man, folk buy TVs at Christmas, don't mind them there. I said, they just the ragged as they could be in Walmart because they've been banged and bumped and
Mhm.
buggers done hit them. I say, that's a gimmick. Nobody
Mhm.
want these raggedy TVs. And he said, well, I just wonder why they have so many. They just got a mass of stuff.
Stuff. Mhm. Somebody will buy it simply because it's just
Oh, yeah.
sitting out there. It's just
Oh,
sitting out
yeah.
there,
I will
and
have
they think they need it. They think they need it.
That's right. The
It's
thing
just
is,
stuff.
So y'all, let's just be prepared and stay prepared for what's gonna come upon the earth, she says, as an overwhelming surprise.
Mhm.
We got a surprise in 2020 when we thought everything,
Absolutely.
and we were being beat down. Folks were sick and they know that they had COVID
Mm-hmm.
in December. And
Mhm.
probably before then, and then up pop. Ooh. everything, food shortage, gas, that that COVID
Mhm.
flu and see it's a continuous thing.
Yeah, oh, it's gonna get worse. Things are not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse.
That's right.
So we just have to keep ourselves prepared. We
Yes,
got to keep
Lord.
ourselves prepared. So let's be diligent students of the word, draw closer to Christ, tell somebody else about Christ. That's what we got to do.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions, comment? We're going to stop there.
Okay.
All right.